Controversy strikes in the Circuit of the Americas. The FIA chose to look the other way when Max Verstappen gained an advantage after pushing Lando Norris off track, but punished the McLaren star for not giving up his lead to the Dutchman later on. Is this a clear-cut case of favouritism, or did the stewards make the right calls? Let's find out. Lando Norris was left scratching his head after the stewards at the United States Grand Prix twice ruled against him in his latest battle with title rival Max Verstappen. The first incident, which occurred at Turn 1, seemed like a classic opening lap tussle. Verstappen, starting second on the grid, squeezed through a narrow gap on the inside of pole-sitter Norris, forcing both drivers wide and giving Ferrari's Charles Leclerc the opportunity to slip through. During a safety car period, Norris was livid about Max's driving on the team radio, saying, "He has clearly pushed me wide. He had not intent to make the corner. Even he went off the track. I just had to crashing into him, or him crashing into me. The thing is, he overtook me by going in so hard that he went off the track, same as Budapest, just identical." Later in the race, as Norris on fresher hard tyres closed in on Verstappen, the pair went wheel-to-wheel into Turn 12 on lap 52 of 56. Norris, barely making the apex, was pushed wide by the Red Bull driver, but managed to complete an off-track pass for third place. Despite Verstappen also running off track while defending, the stewards slapped Norris with a 5-second penalty for gaining an advantage by going off the circuit. This dropped him from third at the finish line to fourth in the official results, costing him another 3 crucial points in the championship battle. When Sky Sports suggested it was a missed opportunity, Norris had a sharp response. "It's impossible to know. They, the stewards, obviously can't make up their minds for a few laps, so it's not an easy decision, otherwise it would have come a bit sooner. I tried." He also went off the track. If he goes off the track, then clearly he has gone in way too hard, and also gained an advantage by doing what he did. I don't make the rules, so... Also speaking to Sky Sports, CEO Zak Brown found himself in full agreement with his driver. He said, "Well, that's exactly the penalty Oscar got yesterday, wasn't it? Made a pass, and it was either make way or have a collision. So that wasn't on, in our opinion. Think Lando had to make way, so it was a bit of a dive bomb. But anyways, we'll see what the stewards have to say and keep racing. A long way to go." Max Verstappen doesn't care much for what either McLaren figure has to say. According to the Dutchman, Lando Norris's penalty for overtaking him outside track limits during the United States Grand Prix was very clear. While Norris expressed confusion post-race over the stewards' rush to make a decision, Verstappen stood his ground, saying it was a straightforward breach of the rules. Speaking to the media, he said, "I think it's quite clearly kind of a thing outside of the white line. I mean, I got done for it also here in, I think, 2017 or whatever it was, so I lost my podium like that. I remained calm, tried to do the best I could after that to bring the car to the end because it was not easy with the tyres and the situation that I was in. But overall, I still really enjoyed that battle that we had." When asked if he could empathise with McLaren's perspective on the late race incident, Verstappen responded, "No, I don't. I mean, they complain about a lot lately anyway, but it's very clear in the rules outside the white line you cannot pass. I've been done for it as well in the past." It was far from a smooth weekend for McLaren, with Norris admitting they had been struggling the whole day on Friday. After Saturday's sprint, he hinted that the papaya cars just couldn't match the pace of their rivals. When asked if he could still take any positives from Sunday's race result, despite the challenges throughout the weekend, the 24-year-old took a moment to reflect. When asked post-race to share more about his thoughts on the battle with Verstappen and why he chose not to give the position back just in case, Norris offered an explanation for his actions. "I mean, clearly I didn't give the position back because we thought we were in the right, and clearly we weren't. I still think we were, considering Max went off the track. Normally, if you defend your position and you go off the track, you have to give the position up. In that case, I was ahead. I kept my position because he needed to give it back, and that's the way it is. I think I did the correct thing, but I don't make the rules." Norris then proceeded to criticise his own performance, saying, "I didn't have enough today. I didn't drive particularly well. It was a tough challenge out there with the tyres and the car. It was a difficult day. It's tough when you're on the limit and you're trying your best. Tyres are old and hot and it's slidey. It's easy to make mistakes. Those things happen. But yeah, I didn't do enough today. I didn't drive well enough. I get that. So I need to make some improvements." It was far from a smooth weekend for McLaren, with Norris admitting they had been struggling the whole day on Friday. After Saturday's sprint, he hinted that the papaya cars just couldn't match the pace of their rivals. When asked if he could still take any positives from Sunday's race result, Despite the challenges throughout the weekend, the 24-year-old took a moment to reflect. Yeah, it's tough. I think our only position we could have got today is third. The Ferraris were on another level comparing to us today. Difficult to expect a lot more. Honestly, I think even if I led after turn 1, I would have finished third at best. So when you look at it like that, I was only one position away from where I should have finished. But that one position is probably the most critical because it's against Max. I'm not happy with today at all. We struggled as a team. I didn't do a great job and both are not what we need right now. So we'll both try better next time. The steward's decision sparked strong criticism from McLaren's team principal, Andrea Stella, who labelled the penalty as inappropriate. Leading McLaren since December 2022, Stella voiced his opposition to the ruling, describing it as a blemish on what had been an otherwise thrilling battle between Norris and Max Verstappen. He told Sky Sports, "My view is the way the stewards interfered with a beautiful piece of motorsport was inappropriate, because both cars went off track, so both cars gained an advantage. It's a shame because it cost us a podium and a race where we stayed patient after we were pushed off on the first lap and first corner. We accepted it. Having said that, very clearly our position, this kind of decision cannot be appealed. For us, the chapter is now closed, and we move on to the next race." Red Bull team principal Christian Horner delivered a strong response after the contentious penalty against Lando Norris in Austin. Horner emphasised that the rules concerning such manoeuvres are clear-cut. Speaking to the media after the race, he said, "For me, it was just clear the racing rules where obviously the pass was made off the track, the rules are very clear with that. There was a penalty for that, and there could have been a penalty for moving under brakes at turn 1, and there could have been another one for track limits. So in the end, I don't think there can be any complaints. Well, Verstappen didn't go off the track, and it's very, very clear the regulations let them race to the first turn. Max didn't leave the track. That was fair game." Apparently, Andrea Stella isn't the only team principal left angry at the FIA after Sunday. Mercedes boss Toto Wolff also expressed his dissatisfaction with the stewards' decisions during the United States Grand Prix, labelling the calls as biased. This came after his driver, George Russell, received a 5-second penalty for forcing Valtteri Bottas off the track at turn 12. Russell was taken aback by the penalty, reacting with an astonished "what?" when informed during the race. Shortly after, Wolff chimed in over the radio, stating that the penalty was a total joke. At the end of the race, Russell asked whether Verstappen had faced any penalties for the incident at the start. Wolff replied, "No, he didn't get a penalty." And at the end, Lando got a penalty for being forced off and overtaking on the outside. I guess it's a bit biased decision-making, but, not surprised. In the aftermath of the United States Grand Prix, the FIA has finally addressed the penalty imposed on Lando Norris. The governing body concluded that Norris's actions violated Article 33.3 of the FIA Formula One sporting regulations. According to the report, Car 4, Norris was overtaking Car 1, Verstappen, on the outside, but was not level with Car 1 at the apex. Therefore, under the driving standards guidelines, Car 4 had lost the right to the corner. A 5-second penalty is imposed instead of the 10-second penalty recommended in the guidelines because, having committed to the overtaking move on the outside, the driver of Car 4 had little alternative other than to leave the track because of the proximity of Car 1, which had also left the track. What are your thoughts on the verdict? Is the FIA indeed making biased decisions, or are the punished teams taking advantage of the bad press aimed at the governing body? Share your thoughts in the comments section down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.